Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's up, Facebook universe? My Facebook friends. What's going on, friends? Good to see you. Well, I'm not seeing you right now, but that's okay. Hey, howdy, Facebook friends. What's going on? So today I'm going to be going through some questions, some Q&As from various clients, various emails, various questions we get at the Nerd Gym, and I'm doing it on a Facebook Live with all of the names changed to protect the innocent, of course. I'm doing the Q&A on the Facebook Live so that, especially for the really frequently asked questions, so that any of y'all who may have wondered the same dang thing but have been too scared to ask, now you can know. Now you can know what the heck's going on. So first off, one I've been getting a lot lately is what at-home workout equipment should I be using? And my husband is actually going to be publishing a podcast on this one, so that is worth a listen. But let's talk about that at-home workout equipment. So a lot of y'all are stuck at home trying to figure out what the heck to do with yourselves. So if you're a member of the Nerd Gym, obviously we got you back with the bodyweight workouts, and if you're working out at home, bodyweight workouts are fantastic. They don't take up any space. You don't need any fancy equipment, right? You really don't. To get a good workout in, you do not need a bunch of fancy equipment. You just got to make sure that your exercise routine does in fact hit the whole body yaddy. But if I had to give you my top picks, number one would be dumbbells, a pair of dumbbells. I would say that dumbbells they're a classic for a reason. They're one of the most versatile pieces of exercise equipment that you can use. And I know they are a little harder to come by these days, and we did get a lot of questions on what is a fair price for dumbbells too. So you can expect to pay about $2 per pound for a pair of dumbbells, as far as that's going to be like on the lower end, like Walmart or Amazon if they've got them in stock, one of those places. I know Walmart has some in stock. I looked on their website today because somebody was asking. So what do we need? What do we need for dumbbells? If we're going to get a pair of dumbbells and we're investing that money and the space in our home to it, what are we going to get? We're going to get a weight that might be a little heavier than you think, especially if you are a beginner. So if you are brand new to exercise and the fitness, or if it's just been a hot minute and you haven't worked out a whole lot lately, go ahead and try to find a pair of dumbbells that you can do a single curl and press with, like that. Some curls and presses. Something that you can do no more than 5 presses with, 5 max. All right, so if you can do like 7, 10, 15 shoulder presses with the dumbbell, it's too light. You're gonna outgrow it way too fast. If we're just trying to find one pair to get a pair that you can't press overhead for more than 5 reps. Super, super important, because you're gonna outgrow those really fast. And you want them to be versatile. You want to be able to use them for lower body as well as upper body exercises, chest press, rows, and deadlifts and squats, oh my, all the things. So definitely get a pair that you can't press more than 5 times. That's a good rule of thumb if we're just going to get a pair. And then if we're going to go from there, we get one down from that and one up from that, and then one down from that and one up from that. And that's how you would expand out your collection of dumbbells. I do get a lot of questions on the adjustable dumbbells. If you're going to get adjustable dumbbells, there's a couple different types out there. Any of the ones that have the pin that you move, I'm frankly not a big fan of. They're usually overpriced, and they tend to hold a bit weird for certain movements, especially for things like any dynamic movements. Like if you are going to learn how to do a clean or a snatch with the dumbbell, you really don't want it jiggling around too much on you. And the blocks, the ones that are like square shaped with the multiple all-in-one, those can get in the way of the hand depending on what you're doing with it. If you're trying to do something like a wrist curl, or if you're trying to do like a deadlift, it can graze your shin more than it needs to, that kind of thing. So just get a regular plain fixed pair of dumbbells at a weight that you can't press more than 5 times, or if you're going to go adjustable, go old school, the kind that have like either the screw-on ends with the plates, like get something with the plates and either screw-on ends that you can screw it down nice and tight, or something that's got a good quality collar. If you're going to get the Olympic type, which is like the thicker ends, get plates and a collar. So that would be my recommendation for number one at-home workout equipment. Now, if you travel a lot and you want stuff that's portable, go for the exercise bands. That's, you know, bands are great. You can do with or without handles. If you have sensitive hands, go for the ones with the handles. I'm partial to the ones that look like a giant rubber band rather than the tubing personally, but yeah, any bands will do you. And kettlebells. Kettlebells are great, especially if you're going to do kettlebell specific training. I did have questions recently. Somebody asked me about the kettlebell handle that you clamp onto a dumbbell, which is a thing they sell. Those are pretty cool, actually. We had a client using one of those in our kettlebell class, and it seemed to work pretty good for most things, not for everything, but for most things. So you know, if you just want to transform a dumbbell to do like a basic swing, a one-arm swing, clean worked okay, but anything where we're holding it in the goblet position, the dumbbell ends were bumping into the forearm there. So they're not a perfect substitute for a kettlebell by far, but they are a nice addition to your home gym. If you've got dumbbells and a kettlebell handle, you can be more versatile with it. So yeah, totally. Now, as far as cardio equipment goes, I almost never recommend somebody gets a piece of cardio equipment for their home unless they already know that they love that particular piece of the equipment. So for example, if you had a very solid routine of going to a gym and using the treadmill every single time you're there, and you actually enjoyed using the treadmill and now you can't go to the gym, then yeah, you might actually use a treadmill at home. If it's a decent treadmill, because they're, you know, it feels different. The cheap ones feel different. Same thing, like if you know you like riding on a bike, then yeah, you might actually use the bike at home. But in general, I think for most people, those large pieces of cardio equipment just turn into coat hangers at home. You just tend to throw stuff on them, and it becomes a napping spot for the cat, and it ends up just being sort of an expensive waste of space. For most people. So unless there's a piece of cardio equipment you know that you love, then I would stay away from doing that and just do body weight activities for your cardio at home. Doing interval training for things that get your heart rate up are fabulous. So there's no reason to do the cardio equipment at home for most people, in my opinion. Okay, what else do we got here? What home workout equipment should I get, and how to get the motivation to actually use it? Oh, motivation question. Motivation Monday, I love it. We are actually launching our Mega Motivation Challenge in a few days, so this has been top of mind for me. Motivation is, it's that thing that we all go through waves of wishing we could just conjure it up. Well, the good news is you actually can conjure it up, but it does have some very specific elements. 3 key components to creating motivation is number 1, pain, or the problem you're trying to solve. You have to be really kind of in touch with your pain, in touch with the problem you're trying to solve, and you have to be clear with yourself about how important that is to you. So even if it seems like something superficial, like, oh, I just want to lose 5 to 10 pounds or whatever, ask yourself why that's important to you. Why that 5 to 10 pounds will make a difference in your life. And this is not a judgment thing at all. Your vanity is valid. If you only have vanity reasons for losing that 5 to 10, you got to be really honest with yourself about that. But maybe it ties into other things, you know, whether that is, you know, it's, you can list the reasons, like because you want to fit into your clothes, because you want to feel healthier, because you want to have more energy, because you don't want to think about your fupa all the time, whatever it is. um, Whatever your reasons are, they're your reasons and they're valid. So don't let anybody guilt trip you and say that, oh, well, you shouldn't worry about that, and that's not, that's not important. And if it's important to you, it's fucking important, okay? um, I, you know, I am a big fan of loving your body every step of the journey, but it's your journey to make, and nobody can tell you like whether or not your destination or your quest is valid. I'm pretty much over other people having an opinion over you on that. So make sure that you're really clear about your pain. Make sure you're really clear about what you want your future self to be, what you want to look like, what you want to feel like, who the heck you are, and why it is important to your personality. So pain and clarity, those are the first two ingredients of motivation. And the third one, the one that nobody likes to talk about, is of course support. So we live in a society that puts a high value on independence, and we've got kind of this lone wolf mythology when it comes to people who are highly motivated, like, yeah, I did it all on my own, pulled myself up by my own bootstraps, and made something of my life. But the truth is that no motivated person is motivated on their own. There's always some kind of support there. There's always somebody believing in them. There's somebody cheering them on. There's somebody guiding them. There's somebody reassuring them that they are on the right path. And that is where, for fitness stuff, I am a big fan of personal training. Personal training changed my life personally, which is why I now am in a business of selling personal training, because it was life-changing for me. So I feel that it can be life-changing for you as well. Having that support, having that accountability, having somebody reassuring you that you're on the right path, and cheering you on. So that is how you get motivation: pain, clarity, support. Pain, clarity, support. You hear me talk a lot about this over the next few weeks, man, because this is top of mind for me right now, is that motivation vibe, because everybody's feeling the exhaustion of COVID life, right? We're all feeling that we're all getting worn down. And I got to remind myself that when I see people who are like chomping at the bit to get back out there to the bars and everything, you know, personally, it's like I lost my physical business. I lost a lot of revenue. I don't like being cooped up in the house. I've experienced a lot of loss here, and I would love for things to miraculously just be okay and be able to get back out there. But for me personally, it's like whether or not I want it has nothing to do with reality, right? So I have a lot of sympathy for people who are like ready to just get the fuck back out there, though, right? That's I get it. But yeah, we're all feeling the crunch of COVID life and being indoors way more than we're used to. So it's really kind of a matter of like, oh man, there's all these things I know I can and I should do at home. There's all these things that I could do for self-improvement, self-development. Like, I could emerge out of this thing a beautiful butterfly, but I can't seem to get out of this gooey larva stage. So motivation is what a lot of us need right now. And that is why we're doing the Mega Motivation Challenge. So yeah, clarity, pain, support. That's what you need. You bring the pain, we'll give you the clarity and the support. All right. So if you want to hit me up for a consultation, I'll help you out with that. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you have fitness goals that you need motivation for, specifically personal training. Now, I'm a big fan of group fitness. We do mostly group fitness with the Nerd Gym, but I would say that if you're in that state where you're just like, you need somebody specific to be holding you accountable and hold you to an appointment time and all that kind of stuff. So personal training, different use than group fitness training, in my opinion. Group fitness training is great for sustainable lifestyle habits and general group support. Once you have the habit going, you still need some support, but you can go a little lighter on the support and just have kind of that group camaraderie and accountability. But when we're trying to get that initial motivation to get a habit started, personal training is definitely the way to go for fitness stuff. Let's see, what else we got here? How do I drink more water? Well, lucky for you, it is Mocktail Monday. Oh yeah, well, it's been mocktail weekend for me. I did mocktails yesterday for the Cook With Me class for the Nerd Gym. So we made a bunch of different mocktails. I got I created a few different infused vinegars, diced up a bunch of different types of fruit, and we had some herbs and different things. This one is orange slices, apple cider vinegar, some of those orange Mio drops, the little sugar-free whatchamahoozits. So it's tart, it's tangy, it's citrusy, it's low calorie, and it has water in it. Ah, yeah. So a lot of times when people aren't drinking enough water, it's in part because of flavor. So adding just a little lemon juice to your water, adding some kind of a flavor to your water to get you started, something that you like, that will help you out tremendously. And then after that, you get used to having less and less stuff in your water and drinking more and more water. The other thing that I'm a big fan of is I always have a gallon of water. You should be drinking about 3 liters per day. Most people are going to sweat between 3 and 6 liters per day. If you live in Tucson, hey, it's hot. If you're exercising, you're going to sweat more. So there's a lot of variables. So what is the exact right amount of water to drink? Who knows? But 3 to 6 liters is the average you're going to sweat. And I think the gallon is 3.6 something. I don't know. It's a little over 3 liters. So gallon a day is what I recommend. Get a lot of questions about caffeine. Does my coffee count towards my total water intake? Well, if you're a new coffee drinker, no. It's diuretic if you're not used to it, but if you're totally desensitized to caffeine like I am, then yeah, you could probably count some of that towards your water intake. But why not just drink more water? I mean, it's gonna help everything in your life. It helps coordination, it helps cognitive ability, it makes your skin looks nicer, all these different things. There's a lot of reasons to drink more water, a lot of reasons to stay hydrated. Balance, yeah, so drink more water, drink more fluids. At least 3 liters is my recommendation for how much. And another question that I get kind of tagged on to that one, especially for a lot of the older clients that I work with, people who are over 65 in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and a few people I've worked with in their 90s as well, is oh man, if I drink too much water, then I have to pee all the time. That does pass, by the way. So I don't understand the mechanism that is responsible for this, but here's some weird things that happen as we get older. One, as you age, your ability to perceive thirst reduces. So your ability to actually perceive when you're thirsty is not as good as you age. Sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger, which is important to remember if you are trying to reduce your calorie volume intake. Always drink some water first to make sure you're not just thirsty, make sure you're actually really hungry and not just thirsty. So not only do you lose your ability to tell when you are thirsty, but yeah, for some reason there's this curve, and I've seen it happen so many times that I'm confident in what I'm seeing, what I'm observing, but I don't understand the mechanics behind it. I've got some cockamamie theories on it, but if anybody actually knows, drop it in the comments for me. So for older clients particularly, they will go through, if they actually go through the phase of like, okay, I'm gonna drink the water even though it means that I have to pee every fucking 5 minutes, but I'm still gonna drink the water, and I'm still gonna drink the water, and they do that for a couple weeks consistently, then they suddenly don't have to pee as much afterwards. They don't feel like they urgently need to pee all the time. So I don't understand. I don't understand what happens that when you drink more water, you cross this threshold where you eventually need to start peeing less frequently. One of my harebrained theories is that the concentration of whatever your body's trying to expel, the toxins or whatever that your body's trying to expel in the urine, like the concentration of ammonia or whatever, is less. So maybe it's less irritating to the bladder when you're more well hydrated. I don't fucking know. I'm just making shit up at this point. But if you are one of those people who feels like, oh man, I could never drink enough water because I have to pee all the time, there is hope for you. I've seen it many, many times at this point as a coach, where yes, if you actually do make the effort and you tough it out for a couple of weeks of multiple trips to the bathroom, which, hey, means getting more steps in, getting more squats in, depending on how you use the loo, then yeah, that's a win-win-win, right? So tough it out, try to get more water in, even if you know you're gonna have to go pee all the time. And hey, now that we're at home all the time, if you're in that boat, if you're not in the essential worker boat, but you are at home, now is the perfect time to try that experiment, right? Because you got the bathroom right there. Okay, let's see what else. Drink more water. So at-home equipment, motivation, drink more water. Best exercises to improve sex life. What? Y'all are getting personal with me here. Okay, so let me take this apart a little bit. So part of this question kind of depends on you know, hormonal stuff, gender stuff, that kind of thing. Part of it is going to be, you know, endurance based. Part of it's going to be position based, right? So, so there's a couple of recommendations I'm making. So in general, being fitter, being overall healthier will improve your overall sex life. Everything from endurance to positions to sexual drive, everything. So all of those things are helped by being fitter. Let's break down a couple different aspects of fitness for this one. So first off, let's talk about cardio, because cardio is important not only because of the endurance aspect of you know, maybe pulling an all-nighter and having that endurance to really have fun and play with your partner or yourself, whoever you're having the sexual experience with. So in you know, the endurance, being able to do longer, prolonged periods and not be out of breath is very helpful. But cardio, blood flow. Okay, so when you do cardio, when you are doing like high intensity interval training, when you are doing steady state cardio, when you are doing all these cardiovascular activities as part of your health and fitness routine, one of the interesting things that happens is you increase total blood volume, overall blood volume in your body. So people who do a lot of cardio are actually juicier. They have more blood than an equivalent person who does no cardio. So this so cardio not only ties into the endurance that you have, the output of endurance that you have for those activities, but it also ties into if you have a penis, the erection, right? The ability to have blood flow and more blood in your total body, and or also sensitivity. So if you have a clitoris, then having more sensitivity because you've got more blood flow, you got more blood to go around in your body, you got more juice to go around in your body. So yeah, stay hydrated, do cardio, be juicy, be nice and juicy. Beyond that, looking at things like hip thrust, sexual positions, you know, if you do Russian swings, that's killing two birds with one stone right there, because high volume Russian swings are a fantastic form of cardio, but you're also getting a nice strong hip thrust. A lot of us tend to be quad dominant. We tend to sit with our hips in this flexed position, and we don't work on the posterior chain as much. We don't work on the glutes as much, especially if we've been doing a lot of body weight activities. We may be doing lots of squats and lunges, but we might be not getting those hip raises in, because hip raises, while in a very effective body weight workout for the posterior chain, it can be a little boring, right? So, hip raises, if you're doing body weight, get those glutes strengthened to be able to fully extend the hip and so that you have a nice powerful thrust. Also making sure that you are, if you have a kettlebell, get those Russian swings in. That's fabulous for that. Deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts, working that posterior chain. Yeah, yeah, super important. Beyond that, just general whole body strength training is what I recommend. For different positions, for balance, if we're hitting up all the Kama Sutra, different crazy ass positions, just do a good general strength training routine. Strength training is really underrated for the amount of flexibility that you gain from it. And flexibility is super important. I had a client once. She had a muscle tear, because of a sexual position her and her partner was in, and that's no fun. That'll definitely put a damper on the evening. And she was tight in that area, in the groin area, because she wasn't doing real deep squats and things to kind of prime those muscles so that didn't happen. So we were able to work through that, work around that, and get her back to where she wanted to be physically. So definitely making sure that you're doing whole body strength training, because a weak muscle is a tight muscle. That's a thing that people often confuse. They think of like the tight bodybuilder or whatever. A weak muscle is a tight muscle. So in other words, if my body, my nervous system knows that, hey, if you squat all the way down, bitch, you're not going to be able to get back up because you're too weak for that, it's just not going to let me squat all the way down. It's going to clamp down. That nervous system's going to clamp down on and not allow me to move into the range of motion that I don't have the strength to get back up from. So the more you work on your strength, the more flexible you will be. Let's see. Okay, so best exercise to improve sex life, cardio, overall strength training, all of it, honestly. Best exercises for getting up off the floor. Ooh, okay, so this is a big one. I do like taking a bottoms-up approach for strength, especially for people who are seniors. It's usually senior citizens who are thinking about this, like getting down and up off the floor. But that's, hey, if you're in your 20s and 30s and can't get down and up off the floor, you're not alone. There's lots of you out there. Western furniture has basically ruined us, right? We often don't have to sit on the floor. We don't have to get all the way down and all the way up. But definitely taking a bottoms-up approach to that, thinking leg strength first, feet, ankles, legs. That's your balance, control, all that kind of stuff. Getting to the point where we can get down and up off the floor without using our arms. But again, here we're looking at whole body strength training. So if you want to know where to focus first for that, focus from the feet up, because that's also going to reduce risk of falls if we have to pick one area. And here's the thing, best exercise for getting out, you just got to get down and up off the floor. Again, if you're having difficulty with this, I highly recommend getting personal training. Your situation may be very specific or different of why you can't get down and up off the floor. There's a lot of different reasons for that. But in general, for most like senior citizens who have high risk of falls, make sure that the feet are in good shape, make sure the ankles are in good shape. Those are the first line of defense between you and the floor, is being able to perceive what's underneath you. And if you have a lot of foot muscle atrophy because you're in shoes all day or whatever, and you never use your feet, you never do those calf raises, you never wiggle your toes none, then it's going to be it's like walking around on peg legs. You can't feel what's going on around down there. So start with the feet, ankles, quads, work on those squats, work on getting down and up off of a chair, make the chair lower, and then make the chair lower. That is the simple approach for that. Let's see, what else? Plus, ask me your questions. Okay, so those were just a few questions that I got this week via email, via messaging. So if you've got questions that you would like me to answer on Facebook Live, I do intend to be doing these more regularly, so that y'all can benefit from each other's experiences, because that's cool. Okay, I hope you have an awesome day, and go ahead, leave me some questions, leave me some comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.